Good day, sir. I am Puvathaarani. Today, our group going to present the educational blog based on secondary school listening skill. We are focusing on Form 3, Chapter 3, The Wonder of Nature for our listening skill activity. Moving on to the second page, this is Robo Jojo. He will be helping the student throughout the activities in the blog. Moving on to the first activity, story starter based on top down strategy. It emphasized the significance of using prior knowledge and prediction to confront the context. This strategy involved approaching a text or audio from a broader perspective, utilizing existing knowledge and expecting to make sense of the material. In the context of story starter activity, students are encouraged to draw on their background knowledge and make prediction about the story based on the initial sentence provided in the Google Classroom. This approach allows them to actively engage with the context and construct their own narrative continuous. By employing the top down strategy, students learn to use their existing knowledge as a scaffold for understanding and interpreting new information, ultimately enhancing their listening comprehension and critical thinking. We already provided all the materials in the Google Classroom and I already generate it into a QR code where above the block, so student may access the Google Classroom while scanning the QR, and you will proceed to the Google Classroom where they can start doing on the activity by their own self by using 21st century uh, learning skill. Moving on to the second activity, sentence reconstruction. Sentence reconstruction is emphasizing on the bottom up strategy where students are encouraging to listen attentively and focus on individuals' words and phrases. This helps them develop their ability to process and understand language in a smaller unit. For example, individual words, sounds, vocabulary, and etc., and then pieces them together to comprehend the overall meaning of the words. The scrambling of sentences in the transcript adds an element that focus students to rely on their listening skill rather than relying on their prior context or predict skills. This activity promotes the development of bottom up listening skill, which are crucial for accuracy, decoding, and comprehending spoken language. We also provided the QR code where student can scan and access to the GC where they can found the news audio and also the quizzes link for them to do their activity in an individual way towards achieving the 21st century goals. That's all from me. I will be passing to the next presenter. Thank you.
Good. Hi, sir. I'm Kirthana from BTSL. I will be presenting about the blog and the activities that I do for top-down and bottom-up strategy. For top-down strategy, I choose picture description. Picture description is a method used to systematically and effectively describe a visual image or scene, starting with a broad overview and then gradually focusing on the details. This approach can be particularly useful in educational context, language learning, and communication exercises. In the context of the picture description activity involve students identifying pictures, discussing them, writing words, and checking spelling. The teacher then asks questions based on the picture, eliciting answers for free time or hobbies. Students then listen to conversation, circle correct answers, and check their answers individually in groups and as a class. Steps for conducting this activity in the classroom is show students a series of pictures or images that tells a story. Then play an audio recording that narrates the story without showing the pictures. After that, ask students to listen carefully and describe what they think is happening in the story based on the audio alone. Moreover, this activity challenges them to rely on their listening comprehension skills and inference abilities. Lastly, students are required to answer the quiz that will be uploaded in the Google Classroom platform given the blog. By following this top-down strategy, you can systematically and thoroughly describe a picture or image, ensuring that you cover all the relevant details while making it more accessible for others to understand and engage with the visual content. This approach can also be helpful for improving observation and communication skills. The second strategy that I will be presenting about is bottom-up strategy and the activities that I did, which is gap fill exercises. Gap fill exercises is an approach to solving these exercises by starting with individual works or phrases, and gradually building up to understand the entire context. Gap fill exercises, often used in language learning, require you to fill in the missing words or phrases in a text. In the context of the gap fill exercises, activity involved which is teacher will play audio in class, ask students to listen and answer questions on website, enhancing their listening and reading skills, and upload the answers on Google Classroom. Steps for conducting this activity is create a gap fill exercise using sentences or short paragraph that include the chosen form. Then provide students with the exercise and have them fill in the missing forms as they listen to an audio recording. After listening and completing the exercise, have students compare their answers and discuss any challenges they encountered. Lastly, students are required to answer the questions that we uploaded in Google Classroom platform given the blog. The bottom-up strategy is especially useful for honing your vocabulary and contextual understanding. By breaking the exercise down into smaller, manageable parts, you can tackle gap fill exercises with more confidence and accuracy. That's all from me. Thank you, sir.
Hi sir, my name is Darshini. So today I will be explaining about my activities which involves top down and bottom up strategy. As for my first activity, it is a mixture of both top down and bottom up strategy. As the name of my first activity is spell it right. So firstly, teacher will be explaining about the topic or the nature disaster words and pictures that has been taught or explained in the previous class. Then student will scan the QR code and play the audio of the words. Then, thirdly, student will listen to the audio carefully and answer the questions in the Kahoot link given in the Google Classroom. This activity will be done individually by students, and this activity will make students improve their listening skills and vocabulary skills, especially their reading skills in the sense of knowing words, identifying them correctly. Lastly, students are required to answer the questions in Kahoot that is already uploaded in Google Classroom platform, and that and it's provided on in the blog. For this activity, there are a lot of benefits. By students can listen carefully, can be more active listener, and they will be able to identify these words. As for my second activity is a bottom up strategy, which is listen and fill in the blanks. So in this activity, basically students will have to play an audio and listen to the audio carefully. In Google Classroom, there will be two materials, which is a PDF, a fill in the blank PDF file, and the audio to listen to the text or the passage given. And this activity will be done individually by students. Moreover, students will have to listen to the audio and turn in the answers in Google Classroom in the column given in the platform. As for um, the fourth one, this activity will help students to be an active listener and they can pronounce or speak out these words and read the text well. For example, students will be able to read the passage independently and and be able to identify difficult words, and they can be an independent reader and read each text independently. So that's all from me, sir, and thank you.
Hi and good day, sir. My name is HARISHNI ASOKAN, and without further ado, I'll proceed with my part of the activities. So my first activity is Dialogue Decoder. Dialogue Decoder is an activity where students will be accessing the Padlet to get one audio and one exercise sheet. So this audio recording is about a guy named Tony Little, and he is a nature wildlife videographer. And this audio proceeds to go as to talk about himself, what him and his team are working on at the moment, as well as some tips and tricks about videography in general. So this activity itself is under bottom-up strategy, as I can see that students would not have much of an idea of the concept of this person's view of life. They may not know of Tony Little in the beginning, so this would be something that they would have to observe in real time while catching up all the information so that they can grasp and understand and work on the exercise with it later. So bottom up, as you know, like we have to start from the basics. We have to, like, it goes from general and then you have to pinpoint yourselves down to understand every information mentioned. And this is what is happening here. When students are listening to this audio, they will have not they won't have much of an idea of what's going on, as apart from the brief explanation that the teacher would be providing. And then later on they'll move to the exercise sheet. So the exercise sheet is to see whether that they have really grasped that idea on the audio or not. So it'll be a series of multiple choice questions. The first half of the multiple choice questions will be based on the audio itself, as to whether certain phrases are correct or not, or what he said in the context itself. Then we'll be moving on with the second half of the MCQ, which is more toward the grammatical side of this audio clip. So this activity is focusing more on sentence structure as well as tenses. So sentence structure, we're talking about simple sentences, compound complex sentences, as well as complex sentences. And students will have to uh, find out whether these sentences or tenses are in that phrase, uh, the given phrase for each MCQ question. So I believe this one is comes under bottom up of the activity line. So moving on, we have compare and analyze. So compare and analyze comes under top down strategy. So how does it come under top down strategy? So the activity itself has the class being divided into groups of 5 to 6 students in a team, and then they are given two radio advertisements, which are both done by WWF, which is World Wildlife Federation, and their students are to listen to both radio advertisements, and they are to discuss among themselves about what they have listened in the advert, and then they are to produce a Venn diagram of the similarities and differences between the two adverts. Now these two adverts are not about the same topic. The first one will be talking about the bushfires in Australia, and then the second one will be talking about marine wildlife and the endangerment of it. So this one will come under top down. How? Because students will already have a general idea of this. WWF, very well known topic. We've all learned about it, and because of that, they will already have a general idea of what's to come in the radio advert. Like they would know that okay, they're going to talk about conservation, they're going to talk about something to help the planet. So they already have a general idea on that. And then we also have general ideas on marine wildlife endangerment as well as bushfires. It's something that we learn on a daily basis, something we know we hear from on a daily basis. So students will be able to not only use the information that they found on the audio clip itself, but they can connect all the little uh, points in the audio with things that they relate with from what relate outside of the audio, like maybe information they have known outside of it, like maybe let's say the bushfire audio, actually that it's specifically talking about the magpies in Australia, but of course the student has the capability of talking about the koala bears, kangaroos. All this comes into connection. So when it comes to top down, you need a higher level of knowledge processing, meaning that you have to start thinking out of the box and how to connect it in. So I believe that compare and analyze would be a very good session for the students, a very interactive session as well, for them to analyze and learn how to analyze and compare and contrast on informations using what they have learned already know or perceived previously. Yeah, and this also, according to the lesson plan made, this one is also based on grammars as well. So because this one is compare and analyze, this activity will be focusing on comparative and superlative forms as well as prepositions, so that when they draw the Venn diagram and later on present in front of the class, then they will be using these words to enhance or to make their speech or their speaking skills more fluent, more professional. So that's what we're going. So this is definitely more towards listening, but we also have a fair share of speaking skills being brought into the end. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, sir, and I'll pass my turn to the next person.
Hi, sir. So my name is Warna Hafiza Binti Warna Razali. So I'll be talking about my part for the next activity that I've chose for the next activity, which is for the top-down and bottom-up strategy. So I picked the analyze short films or TV shows. So the movie that I found, short films that I found in the in the YouTube that I found is something that I feel like it's really interesting since it's for our um, for our activity. We chose Form 3 students, and the chapter is at the chapter 3, right? So for it's related to nature. So to try, because we know that not every single student will attract it to the nature. Maybe some of them kind of feel like this topic is kind of boring. So I already like decided to try to find. I try my best to find like a really interesting movie for them to watch. So basically, the blog will be. So here is the blog that we actually already like created for the student to access when they want to when the activity is being conducted. So basically, the analyze short films or TV shows. The instruction is basically the first thing first. The teacher will be giving some briefing description about the movie, and then from the briefing the students must tell the genre of the movie before they watch it, and then the students are required to scan the QR code and select the activity at the first section at the activity first section, um, to watch the movie for 10 minutes only. And then if they don't have the gadgets to access to the padlet, the teachers will be project the movie using the projector. And then after watching the movie, the student will be given another 15 minutes to form a group, since this activity is actually a group discussion. And also after they after 15 minutes, for the remaining time, the teacher will pick the group randomly, to for the students to present their answer about the movie. So basically, this activity is actually aims to foster a practical approach to language and learning among students. So by watching these short films or TV shows, the students are encouraged to focus on grasping the main ideas and to present in the content that being present in the content. So this approach is considered as top-down, as it is prioritize understanding the meaning, the overall context and meaning, overall context and meaning, before delving into specific language details. This activity prompts students to analyze various aspects of the video, such as genre, plot, characters, further emphasizing um, uh, the top down strategy. So, by doing this activity, actually, the students engage in discussion to express their comprehension of the content and share specific examples that they notice. Thereby, this will be promoting the top-down strategies. So, um, the second activity that have chose is for the bottom-up strategy. The first one is before this, it's the analyze short films is actually for the top top down strategy. This one is the bottom up strategy. So for the bottom up strategy, I've choose sentence completion as it's actually this activity is actually the exercise of sentence completion to like this exercise actually focus more on language acquisition at the word and sentence level. So it necessitates the students' attention to particular language structures and lexicon, and then which is correspond to a bottom-up approach, and that might highlight language intricacies. So by completing the sentences while listening. So the students enhance their listening and comprehension skills, which are fundamental in bottom-up strategies. In bottom-up language learning. So, the correct completion of sentence demands a comprehension of vocabulary and grammar, which are essential constituents of a bottom-up strategy. So, to complete the sentences with the appropriate words, student must think critically, taking into account the context and meaning. So this foster an analytical and detail-oriented approach. So this activity is actually a very good activity for Form 3 students, I think, because even though there are Form 3 students, some of them might not have the same uh, language level um, in terms of English language. So we can actually see there that our student, whether they are understand about the the topics, or basically they how wide their knowledge in vocabulary and also their grammar, how high their level in their language, so I feel like this activity is something that can be like enjoyable, but at the same time it can actually attract them to get to know about the nature more. And actually this kind of activity actually can make them like discover new things, as in the instruction itself, the first thing the student have to scan the QR code and to access their Padlet, and then the teacher will read the sentence to uh, to clear a voice and pronunciation and stuff like that. And then the teacher will provide papers for them to answer the question if they don't have the gadgets. But from this, the teacher at the end of the activity, the teachers will pick the students randomly, as it's an individual activity. So they have to pick randomly and choose the teacher will pick the student randomly and will actually ask them to present, and from there the students can actually discover, for those who doesn't know, who don't have like a variety of vocabulary and their grammar, they might can discover new things from the activity itself. So it's actually really good to a really good activity for a bottom up strategy for the students. Thank you.